Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer action. Today we're here with the BONY Bois. Yes, the Tomb King's gonna be taking on the Lizardmen, and we've got quite the horde of BONY Bois. So I've been playing around with different variations of this similar build here, led by Arkan the Black. He's got Spirit Leech and Soul Blight, along with his various goodies. We've got 4 units of Nekara Horsemen, 2 on each side, 4 units of Skeleton Archer Horsemen, Skeleton Spears, Skeleton Warriors, mixed in front with the Nushabti Greatbow. And yeah, for my opponent, he's got a KROAK Deathblob, Red-Crested Skink Chief here on Stegodon, of course, KROAK, Star Chamber Guardians, Legion of Chocolates, and up front we've got Red Crest mixed with Saurus, and Skinks out on the flanks, and the Umbral Tide, the Regiment of Renown Salamanders, currently unleashing some fire on my BONY Bois on the side. Nekara Horsemen, so let's just quickly talk about these guys. 650, and they are probably the best medium cab in the game. Not that there is a lot of medium cab in the game to begin with. Really, it's only like them and Boar Boys, maybe, like your various types of Boar Boys, but Nekara Horsemen just have really good combat stats. Like, we'll compare them after the fact, but they have comparable combat stats to something like Empire Knights. Obviously, they don't have the combat stats, or sorry, the armor or charge, but in terms of their attack and defense, they're pretty comparable. So you can see I'm using them pretty aggressively here. We're going to collapse on these Red Crests along with the boy there, or the Tomb Scorpion. Same thing over on this side. Meanwhile, on the front line here, my Nushabti Greatbow's getting a little bit caught up. Not the best, but I am going to go ahead and pull them back here. We've been able to terrify away Skinks quite nicely, but of course, this is the main issue here. I did not dodge that deliverance of pizzas, so those 2 units of Nekara Horsemen, who had been dealing with the Umbral Tide quite nicely, did just get blown up there, unfortunately, so that's not the best, but hey, we've still got plenty of BONY Bois left, and the Scorpions as well, of course, going to be very good here. Arkan's in a bit of a pickle. The Red Crest going to be coming after him. Thankfully, he does have that Liber Mortis active to give him some massive physical resistance. He does summon some more Skeleton Warriors just to pad out numbers here and keep the Legion of Chocolates from supporting. We've also got Skeleton Spears in the back line here. They're going to get on these Skink Cohort and Star Chamber Guardians just to try and keep things bogged up. You can see another Deliverance of Itza here. I'm going to try and dodge this one, but I don't quite get away in time. And my skeletons do still take a pretty good amount of damage, although they don't completely get destroyed like those last units. They are going to start crumbling, though, it looks like. Maybe. They might hold their leadership together. Meanwhile, Nekara Horsemen just kind of pulling away here. I'm not doing a great job of microing my Nushabti Greatbows, which is really rough. I definitely need them to take down the Scorpion here, but you can see I'm just using the Horseman Archers to shoot. Honestly, they would be much better off shooting at Lord KROAK because he has much lower armor and he's unbreakable. But I'm just very worried about this Red Crest. He's got a lot of HP to work through. You can see I've got my summoned Nushabti here as well, and the Tomb Scorpion now doing a ton of armor-piercing damage. He's popped his Red Crest, give him some massive combat stats, but probably still going to pull away from that engagement. Looks like another Deliverance of Pizzas, just killing all the supporting skeletons there. So looking a little bit rough for me. Some of my units are kind of starting to run out of steam, but we've been able to deal with the Umbral Tide. These Nekara Horsemen doing very well. Both the Scorpions are relatively healthy. This one's kind of getting beat up a little bit here by the Legion of Chocolate. Star Chamber Guardians now moving in as well, so it's a little bit of a tough situation, but we've been able to do a ton of damage to the Red Crests. Liber Mortis also comes in. Granted, Star Chamber Guardians do have magic damage, so they'll actually bypass that Liber Mortis effect. But it will affect like the Legion of Chakwa and these other various units here. Looks like KROAK actually does magic damage. Makes sense. But yeah, you can see now I'm focus firing on KROAK. I'm using this Soul Blight to try and debuff the armor of all these units so that my Skeleton Horseman Archers can continue to generate more value. The Skeleton Horseman Archers have pretty good AP values. They have really good range as well. And against the Lizardmen, there's not really anything that can catch them. So I do like them quite a bit in this particular matchup. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm not using their ammo the best. They're going after it like Saurus Spears here, which is not the best. I definitely need to be saving my ammo for these heroic characters here. But the Tomb Scorpion, one is just about to get taken down. The other one's still pretty healthy, though. And we've still got lots of Nekara Horsemen as well, able to recharge these Saurus Warriors. and hopefully take them out. Arcan's needing to recharge his Tomb Blade. To do that, he needs to be in melee. So I'm trying to look for favorable engagements where I can get him in and put him in melee to recharge so I can get more skeleton summons. Because I'm really low on numbers at this point. You can see only half the Lizardmen force has been lost, whereas I've lost, about 3/4 of my force. So yeah, it's looking pretty rough here. I mean, granted, we do still have some Spirit Leeches, another Spirit Leech on the red crest there. Going to do a little bit of HP damage to him. He still has quite a bit of HP left, over 2,000 HP it looks like, but we'll do a couple hundred here and there. Another Deliverance of Pizza going to blow up what few skeletons remain, and at this point it's pretty much just the skeleton archers and these tattered Nehekara horsemen left. So yeah, that whole horde of bony boys just disappeared under the deliverance of all the pizzas. So it's a little bit rough, but here we're able to draw KROAK away from his death blob and putting down a little bit of a soul blight here to debuff all these troops that are fighting. And we're going to try and finish off KROAK here. KROAK's very, very low. He's down to about 500 HP. Likewise, the red crest is also very low. We get the Scorpion in here for a nice side charge. He's taking damage. He's down to about 1,500, but this, oh man, I just can't let Lord KROAK escape. So I'm going to get this unit of reserve Nehekara horsemen. It's a little bit risky, but I'm going to try and path them in to go after Lord KROAK here, and we do summon some skeletons as well to try and bog up all those Saurus infantry. Likewise, the red crest is very low. He's leadership is not doing too great. I'm being a little bit aggressive with Arcan here. This is honestly very dangerous. A few wrong hits could just finish Arcan off. But I just need to get the damage in any way I can, so just trying to draw these troops away, and you can see again the Nehekara horseman here desperately trying to get to Lord KROAK. He's down to 60 HP, and that's pretty much going to be it, and almost at the same time the red crest here gets taken out by Arcan and the Scorpion. Well, almost the same time. When I say that, I mean like 30 seconds later. But yeah, he's going to get finished off here. He's down to 1 HP, and whoop, that's it. So now we might be able to come back. Things are still not looking great in terms of the balance of power, though. There's a lot of these heavy infantry here, and I mean, granted, I do still have 1 Scorpion left that's pretty tattered, but we do have quite a task ahead of us. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit as I start to isolate various Saurus units with my Cav Blob and try and chase off routing units when we do get a terror route. You can see I'm going after like these skinks over here who are a little bit more vulnerable. Obviously, I don't want to go after these anti-large units. And again, Arcan just going after an easy target, something that he can continuously attack. I mean, chasing routing units, you're not always in melee, so it's not the most efficient way to recharge melee conditional items, but it's the safest way, certainly, because the enemy unit isn't fighting back. So you can continuously get hits without taking any damage in return. You can see, yeah, same thing over here, just picking off units out on the periphery. You can see I do have this 1 unit of skeleton boys that managed to get lost chasing off some skinks, but thankfully they're going to come in the late game here and be able to kind of hold things up a little bit here. You can see some hammer and anvil style tactics coming at play. And because these Saurus are not braced, they are going to take the full charge, which, I mean, granted, isn't much. It's, what, a 14 charge bonus from these bony boys, but it's enough to do HP damage, and you can see leadership damage as well. And now the summon comes in, the Scorpion also comes in, and we're able to terrify away 1 of these units of Saurus Spears. That is going to significantly impact the balance of power and help bring it back in my favor here, so we're going to continue to fast forward as the summoned units fight. You can see just cycle charging in and out with the Scorpion and with the Skeleton Horsemen as well. We've just about been able to finish off these units, but the Legion of Chakwa get terrified. The Tomb Scorpion's just barely hanging in there with 700 HP. And now we just got to finish off these Star Chamber Guardians. Certainly easier said than done, but we'll see. We're going to continue to fast forward as it is quite a lengthy finish here, but definitely a very, very close one. The Skeleton Horsemen are starting to give out. The warriors, the summoned warriors here, are long gone. The real warriors are just about crumbled away. You can see the Scorpion pops, and most of these Skeleton Horsemen are going to pop as well. So I'm going to retreat them to Arcan. He's chasing these Saurus Spears, recharging his sword. Once they shatter, we're going to go ahead and head back for the final stand. Unfortunately, one of the units of Skeleton Horsemen doesn't quite make it back. It actually pops right back there. But yeah, at this point, it's the finish. Arcan's here. He's just waiting for these horsemen to get into position. We've got a summon on station, ready to go. And here we come. Summoned horsemen coming in, immediately you can see they just turn in every direction and start fighting, and that does mean they'll count as getting charged in the rear. When I charge with the skeleton horsemen, they're getting attacked from all sides. Tons of bony boys just mixed it all in here, and you can see the Legion of Chokwa almost immediately shatter. The Star Chamber Guardians actually taking quite a bit of damage here, all things considered. Arcan runs in, slays a couple of them, and that's going to be game. So a very tight finish. Honestly thought that one was out of reach for me, but because Undead, you know, crumbling is ridiculous and OP, we were able to pull out a win there. And honestly, this replay kind of showcases one of my issues with crumbling. Again, I won't harp on too much about this because you guys are probably sick of it by now, but they just really need to change crumbling. Even if you have to increase the leadership of all undead units, you know, between all three of the factions, that's fine. But just, I think crumbling needs to be more impactful, certainly. In terms of the army breakdown here, Skeleton Horsemen definitely coming out MVPs here. 70 kills and lots of key work done in the late game, also helping to take out the big monsters here. I was not the biggest fan of Skeleton Horsemen to begin with because they're really slow. They're the slowest unit of missile cav in the game by far. But at the same time, there are matchups where even with that slow speed, there's still not a lot that can catch you. So in this matchup, for example, against Lizardmen, I definitely like to take quite a few here, as you can just stay ahead of your opponent. You don't, as long as you're on top of your micro, you don't really have to worry about them getting caught, and you can really just unload at a reasonably long range. They have longer range than most missile cav, so you can really sit back and just pepper in fire. So like them quite a bit. Nehekara Horsemen also really nice here. Let's go ahead and just for fun compare Nehekara Horsemen to Empire Knights real quick, because they're not that far off in terms of cost. I mean, Nehekara Horsemen are $650 and Empire Knights are $850. So let's go ahead and have a look here. Where are they? Up here. Here we go, $650 for Nehekara Horsemen. And if we come over here to the Empire and Empire Knights. So yeah, you can see Empire Knights have actually worse attack and defense than Nehekara Horsemen. Nehekara Horsemen obviously have less armor, less charge, but they do have better weapon damage though. And looks like they'd have quite a bit more HP as well. Of course, they're undead, so they cause fear. So yeah, you can see just, I mean, Empire Knights are already a really cost-effective unit at 850 for 110 armor. Their combat stats aren't amazing for the price, but the charge bonus and the armor is really what you're paying for here. Nehekara Horsemen, on the flip side, don't really have the charge bonus of the armor, but their combat stats are really, really good. They're almost like mounted state troops for only 250 points more than like Empire Swordsmen. I mean, Empire Swordsmen 32, 32, 28, so they have less weapon strength, slightly better melee attack, but obviously they don't have the charge bonus, as much armor, and they're not mounted as well, of course. So yeah, I mean, Nehekara Horsemen, really, really good unit, honestly, all things considered. And you will see them used pretty regularly in competitive Tomb King games. And yeah, definitely highly recommend Nehekara Horsemen. In a number of matchups, they can do very, very well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, like this sweet battle report, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.